The fall wasn't the worst part. Losing strength was. Every 11 seconds, someone over 60 falls. Most think it's just aging, but one overlooked vitamin could be the key to strength, balance, and staying on your feet for years to come. Let's get real for a second. How often do you think about your legs? Not in the "does this outfit make them look good" kind of way, but in the "will they carry me where I need to go when I'm 70, 80, or 90" kind of way. It's not exactly dinner table conversation, but maybe it should be. Because there's one single vitamin, yes, just one, that could be the hidden hero in your story of healthy aging. And chances are, you're not getting enough of it. It's vitamin D, the underdog of your longevity journey. And if you're not already paying close attention to it, let me explain why you absolutely should. Your legs aren't just for walking. They're your independence, your freedom, your ability to dance at your grandkid's wedding or simply grab a glass of water without wincing or wobbling. But here's the kicker. As we age, muscle strength tends to dip, slowly, almost sneakily, and most people don't realize it's happening until they notice themselves grabbing the railing a little tighter, hesitating before stepping into the shower, or avoiding stairs altogether. Now imagine this. You walk into your kitchen and feel a sudden buckling in your knees. No warning, just weakness. That's not just getting older. That's often vitamin D deficiency whispering through your muscles. And if left unchecked, that whisper can become a shout. Vitamin D isn't just about bones like many folks think. It plays a direct role in keeping your muscles strong, especially those in your legs. It interacts with muscle cells, improves protein synthesis, and keeps those fibers working like a well-oiled machine. When you're low on it, weakness creeps in. Not soreness from exercise, actual functional weakness. You start shuffling, not striding. You feel fatigue, not just tiredness. It's the difference between vitality and vulnerability. Let me tell you about Marlene, 74, who lives in Oregon. A year ago, she was using a cane and avoiding her garden, the thing she loved most. Her doctor found her vitamin D levels were below 20 ml, far below the optimal range. After consistent supplementation and sun exposure guidance, she ditched the cane and started walking her golden retriever again. True story. And there are countless more just like hers. What's wild is how common this deficiency is, especially after 60. Your skin becomes less efficient at synthesizing vitamin D from the sun, and indoor lifestyles only make it worse. By the time you feel the muscle fatigue, it's often been building for months, maybe years. But here's the empowering part. This is not a life sentence. In fact, it's one of the most preventable and fixable issues when it comes to senior health and anti-aging. And that's why we're talking about it now. Because your legs, your movement, your quality of life, they all hinge on this one silent factor. You might not notice your legs are getting weaker until a small moment changes everything. A stumble in the bathroom, a missed step on the porch, a bruise that becomes a break. And when that happens, you'll wish you'd paid attention to this one thing. Let's not wait for the fall to realize the value of standing strong. Now here's what's even more alarming. And honestly, it should rattle you a bit. Most falls aren't just bad luck. They're rooted in silent, creeping deficiencies that rob you of strength and balance, starting long before that slip ever happens. Let me ask you something a little uncomfortable. When was the last time you felt a little off balance? Maybe you brushed it off. Just a weird moment, I stood up too fast. But what if that little wobble was your body trying to warn you? Here's the truth no one really likes to say out loud. Falls are one of the biggest threats to your health as you get older. Not a mild nuisance, not a freak accident, a real life-changing threat. 1 in 4 people over 65 falls every year, and it's not always something dramatic like slipping on ice or missing a step. Sometimes it's just standing up too quickly, losing footing while putting on socks, leaning over to pick up a dropped napkin. Quiet, ordinary moments that turn dangerous without warning. Most people think, I'm careful, I don't rush, I've got good reflexes, but it's not really about that. It's about what's happening inside your body before the fall even happens. The slow fade of leg strength, the tiny misfires in balance, the muscles not responding like they used to. And behind so much of that, a simple thing that sounds almost too basic to be true: low vitamin D. People shrug it off. I'm outside plenty, they say. I eat well. But even in sunny places, vitamin D deficiency is everywhere, especially after 60. Your body doesn't convert sunlight to vitamin D as efficiently with age. The result? weakness creeps in. Not the sore kind you feel after gardening or walking the dog, but the deeper, more dangerous kind that shows up when you least expect it. Let me tell you about someone I spoke with not long ago. Tom, 72. Never been in a hospital in his life, still mowed his own lawn. Then one day he reached for his toothbrush, shifted his weight a little, and boom, he was on the bathroom floor with a fractured wrist. I wasn't dizzy, I wasn't even rushing, he told me. Turns out his vitamin D levels were way below where they should have been. No one had checked them in years. A simple test, a simple fix, but no one caught it until it was too late. It's not just about broken bones either. A fall can shake your confidence to the core. You start walking differently, avoiding stairs, holding onto walls. You second-guess yourself in situations that used to feel automatic. And that fear? It can be just as limiting as the physical injury, because once you stop moving freely, everything else starts slowing down too. What's wild is how preventable so much of this is. Most of the time, we're not talking about huge structural problems in the body. We're talking about strength that fades because the muscles aren't getting what they need to fire properly. And one of the biggest missing pieces? You guessed it, vitamin D. And this isn't theory, it's backed by research. Studies have shown that people with low vitamin D levels have a much higher risk of falling, and that restoring those levels can dramatically cut that risk down. It's not about megadoses or fancy treatments. It's often just about being consistent with a basic supplement, checking your levels, and giving your muscles what they're quietly asking for. Now, if you're thinking, well, I haven't fallen, so I must be fine, that's exactly the moment to take action. Because once it happens, everything becomes harder to fix. The goal here isn't just to bounce back from a fall, it's to never fall in the first place. So if your balance has been a little off, if stairs seem steeper lately, if getting out of bed feels slower than it used to, it's not in your head. It's not just age. And it's definitely not something you just have to accept. There's something real happening in your muscles, and you can do something about it. In fact, vitamin D is only part of the picture, because to really understand how to protect your strength and stability, you need to know what else this vitamin is doing inside your body, especially when it comes to preserving the very muscle that's keeping you upright. People think of vitamin D as the bone vitamin. That's what we've all been told for years. But what rarely gets mentioned is how vital it is for your muscles, especially the ones in your legs that keep you moving, steady, and safe. Without enough of it, your body can't maintain muscle strength the way it used to, and that's when problems sneak in. Not just fatigue, but real muscle loss. And no, this isn't about training for a marathon. It's about the simple things: standing up without wobbling, reaching down without tipping over, walking without needing to catch yourself. If your body doesn't have the vitamin D it needs, your muscles start to lose their tone and response. Slowly, quietly, you feel a little weaker, a little stiffer, and it's easy to blame that on age. But it's not just age. It's often a signal that your body's missing something essential. There's even a name for this gradual muscle decline: sarcopenia. Nearly half of people over 80 deal with it, but what many don't know is that low vitamin D makes it worse. The good news? Getting those levels up helps. Studies show that people who supplement see better muscle function and fewer falls. You don't need a complete overhaul, just one small, smart change. And the most natural way to start? It's probably already right outside your window. A lot of health advice floats around these days. Try this, avoid that. But when it comes to vitamin D and muscle strength, we're not talking about guesses or trends. We're talking about hard science. In study after study, something keeps showing up. Seniors who get enough vitamin D are stronger, steadier, and far less likely to fall. One well-known study found a 23% drop in fall risk among older adults who took vitamin D regularly. Think about that. Nearly 1 in 4 falls, gone, just from correcting a simple deficiency. For women over 65, the benefits went even further. Hip fracture risk dropped by 22%. That's huge, especially considering how long recovery can take from a broken hip. This isn't just about numbers on a page. It's about real people who got their strength back, who started walking faster, standing taller, and feeling safer in their own homes. Some even reported more energy and less fatigue, like their bodies finally clicked back into gear. It's easy to underestimate something so simple, but what's been proven is this: when your vitamin D levels are where they should be, your muscles respond better, your balance improves, and your confidence rises. And that's not wishful thinking. It's evidence. So the question now becomes, how do you get enough of it, especially if you're not out in the sun every day? Sunlight. It's free. It's everywhere. And it might just be the most underrated health booster you have. Just 20 to 30 minutes of midday sun a few times a week can help your body produce the vitamin D it needs to support strong muscles and better balance. No pills, no fuss. Just step outside. But here's something most people don't know. As you age, your skin becomes less efficient at converting sunlight into vitamin D. So even if you're getting out for a walk or doing some gardening, your body might not be making enough. That's where things get tricky. You feel like you're doing everything right, but the numbers still come up short. And let's be honest, life doesn't always give you perfect sunshine. Maybe the weather's bad, maybe your schedule's packed, or maybe your skin's sensitive to sun exposure. That's reality. It's why so many people, especially over 60, end up with low vitamin D without realizing it. They don't feel sick, just a little slower, a little more tired, a little off. The sun is powerful, but it's not always enough on its own. And when you can't count on it every day, you need a backup plan to make sure your muscles and bones aren't being quietly shortchanged. Let's say the sun isn't always an option. Then what? That's when your plate, and maybe your supplement shelf, steps in to help. Some foods do carry vitamin D. Fatty fish like salmon, sardines, and mackerel are great sources. So are egg yolks, mushrooms, and fortified products like milk or certain cereals. But here's the catch. Even if you eat those fairly often, it's usually not enough to hit the levels your body needs, especially as you age. That's why many doctors recommend a daily vitamin D supplement, often between 800 to 2000 IU. And there's a trick here. Not all D is created equal. Look for vitamin D3, which is better absorbed, and pair it with a meal that includes some healthy fat, like avocado, nuts, or olive oil. Since vitamin D is fat-soluble, it needs that fat to really get to work in your system. If swallowing pills isn't your thing, there are liquid drops, gummies, even chewables. What matters most is staying consistent. This isn't about popping a few pills here and there. It's about giving your body a steady supply of what it needs to keep you strong, balanced, and energized. But there's one more piece to this puzzle. A silent partner your body needs to actually activate all that vitamin D. Here's something most people don't hear from their doctor. Even if you're taking vitamin D, it might not be doing much if your magnesium is low. Yep, magnesium is the quiet sidekick that makes vitamin D actually work. Without enough of it, your body can't properly convert vitamin D into its active form, the one that strengthens muscles, supports balance, and helps protect against falls. So you could be doing everything right with your supplements and still not feel the benefits. Magnesium helps activate the enzymes that let vitamin D do its job. And guess what? Most people over 60 aren't getting enough of it. It's the missing link in a lot of health routines, and when it's not there, things just don't click. You can get magnesium from foods like almonds, spinach, pumpkin seeds, dark chocolate, yes, really, black beans and whole grains. But if your levels are already low, a supplement might be worth talking to your doctor about. Magnesium citrate or glycinate tend to be gentler on the stomach than others. Think of it this way. Vitamin D is the key, but magnesium is what turns the lock. Together, they support your muscles, your bones, and your ability to move confidently. And once both are in place, that's when you start noticing real, lasting changes. So let's say you start today. You get your vitamin D levels checked. You begin taking the right form of it consistently. Maybe adjust your diet a little. Get a little more sunlight. Maybe even add in magnesium to help everything work better. What happens then? At first, it might feel like nothing's happening. Don't let that fool you. Your body's working behind the scenes, slowly recalibrating. You're not going to wake up the next morning and feel 10 years younger, but you might notice something subtle. You're not as tired at the end of the day. You don't feel as drained walking to the mailbox. You're not gripping the handrail as tightly on the stairs. For some people, that shift happens within a couple of weeks. Others might need a bit more time. But almost everyone who stays consistent starts to feel it. Your legs respond faster. You get out of bed and don't feel like your body's negotiating with gravity. You walk across a room and don't have to second-guess each step. Over time, your balance starts to come back, not with fanfare, but with quiet confidence. One day, you realize you just reached for something on a high shelf without bracing yourself. or you got up from the couch and didn't need to do it in stages. It's those small wins that start stacking up. That's the magic of giving your muscles what they've been missing. What surprises people the most is how connected this all is to energy. When your muscles aren't struggling just to hold you up, they use less effort for everything. That translates to more stamina, more get up and go. It's not hype, it's just basic body function finally getting back on track. And yes, the science backs it up. People over 60 who consistently take vitamin D show improvements not just in muscle strength and walking speed, but in fall risk too. That's not just a nice bonus, that's life-changing. Because the less you fall, the more you move. The more you move, the stronger you stay. It becomes a positive loop. But this part is key. Consistency is everything. A few weeks of taking a supplement here and there won't move the needle. Your body needs a steady supply to repair, rebuild, and maintain. Think of it like watering a plant. Miss a day or two, it might be fine. Ignore it for weeks and things start to wilt. You're not chasing a quick fix. You're giving your body what it quietly needs to stay strong, steady, and supported. And the sooner you start, the more of your strength you keep. Because once your muscles fade too far, it becomes harder to bring them back. Not impossible, but harder. So if something in you is saying, I think I might be slipping a bit, listen to it. Not with fear, but with action. Because you still have time to feel better, move better, live better. And this simple step might just be the first domino. If one vitamin could help you stay strong and avoid a life-changing fall, would you ignore it? Don't wait for a scare to make a change. If you're serious about staying sharp and steady, click the video on your screen and hit subscribe. There's more coming that you won't want to miss.